friends, it's Miss Marietta. So me, Miss Lisa, and Miss Addie created a new list of kindergarten agreements that we thought would be helpful for your learning at home. So the first agreement is to always try your best, the second is to do what you can, and the third is to just have fun. Before you go ahead and start writing your story, I wanted to give you all a sentence starter. You can use the sentence starter or you can use your own sentence starter, but it is here for you if you need it. It says, over spring break, and then you get to decide where your story goes from here. So here are a few things to remember before you get started writing. So remember to always capitalize the first letter of your first word in your sentence. Whether you are using this sentence starter or your own, you want to make sure that the first letter is always capital. And you might be wondering, why is spring break capital? The reason why the S in spring and the B in break are capital is because spring break together is an important event. It's an exciting time where we get to spend time with our families and not think about school for a little bit. So it's an important event to us, so we want to make sure it's capital. And then I is also capital because you are important. If you are not using your name to describe you and you're using the word I, you need to capitalize it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and share with you the story that I wrote about my spring break. It was just one event that I chose. There were so many to choose from, but I had to think back and think about my favorite time that I had over spring break with my family. So I went ahead and wrote my story. So I have a picture, and my picture matches my words. I decided to write my story in my notebook. And if you have a notebook, great. If you have paper that's not in a notebook but it has lines, that's great. And if you have a paper that doesn't have lines, that's great too. You're going to think back to the kindergarten agreements and you are going to do what you can. All right, so I started with my picture. I made sure to use all the space that was provided up here. I also tried to use realistic colors that I had to represent my house. So this is my living room, and this is my couch. My couch is a big L-shaped, and then we have an ottoman here. I also labeled the people in my picture to remind me who was with me during that time. So there's me, there's my husband Alejandro, and then there is my baby JC. And I put JC here because he does not like to stay in the couch. He likes to move and wiggle, so we just let him roam around. There's my TV, and the title on my TV kind of represents what I wrote in my story, and I'll read that to you guys in a second. And then this is my front door. This is a plant that I don't water very often, but I should. And then this is the window looking outside. I always like to keep it open to keep the light in. And that's my picture. So I'm going to go ahead and read my story to you. Over spring break, I watched Frozen 2 with my family. So all of those things in my writing were represented in my picture. So there on my TV, it can show that we are watching Frozen 2. And then I drew the people that are in my family, which is my husband and my baby JC. It's your turn to go and take off and write your story. Make sure that you keep this story in a really safe place, whether it's in a notebook, in a box, someplace special in your room. Make sure you are holding on to all of your stories and all of your writing because we want to see them. Happy writing, and we'll see you tomorrow. Mwah.